Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back to another in-depth candle review. I hope you are having a great afternoon. If you missed it, I already shared one in-depth candle review a little bit earlier today here on my channel. If you are interested in my opinion on the Bath & Body Works Cozy Sunday Night fragrance, I will link that review in the description box right below this video here. Definitely check that out if you are at all intrigued by that fragrance. Listen, I absolutely fell in love with it. And if you, like I said, if you're interested in it, go check that review out probably in the near future here, because it looks like Bath & Body Works is already clearancing out some of the fall candles already. And that one is already priced at, I think it's like $10.78 or something. It's like a really random amount. So I think they're already trying to unload some of these fall candles. It seems a little early because we're not even quite in mid-October, but I get it. Retail moves a little bit faster than the actual seasons do. So at any rate, if you are interested in that candle, I say pop into your local store, pick it up, and just enjoy the heck out of it because it is an absolute stunner. Anyway, in this video, listen, I really like this candle too, so I'm gonna be saying a lot of great things about this one as well, but I just had to stress like how surprised I was by that particular Bath & Body Works candle, because it really was not on my radar at all. So, all right. Let's discuss Kringle Reserve Smoke and Oak. So this was a part of the most recent Fall Reserve release. And I think that this is definitely one of my favorites from that release. For Halloween this year, Kringle came out with several really beautiful perfumey scents in their classic black jar lineup. And this fragrance kind of reminds me of some of the other scents that were released that were new this year specifically. The one that comes to mind first is definitely the Skull and Sonnet, which I just recently finished. Such a beautiful fragrance. There were a couple of other scents. Of course, now I can't remember the names of them. I will put the names that I'm thinking of in the description box down below. But they had the same type of perfumey, but maybe slightly more masculine leaning perfumey fragrances. I think this is a category that Kringle does remarkably well. And I didn't initially expect this smoke and oak to be such a great, like, perfumey type of fragrance, but that's really what this is. This is not in my wheelhouse. This is not what I normally gravitate towards, but Kringle has converted me to liking these types of fragrances because they have done them so well. I'm hoping that means that maybe I can try some similar types of fragrances to these more perfumey scents from some other candle companies in the future. But I think Kringle is definitely making me feel a lot more confident about wanting to branch out. So let's go ahead and dig into the scent description, the fragrance notes. I will tell you what I smell. We'll talk strength and throw and overall burn quality, and we'll be able to wrap it up. Okay, Smoke and Oak is a bold autumn scent where smoldering wood and rich smoke mingle with the warmth of bourbon and rugged leather. A base of amber and subtle fruit adds depth, creating a fragrance that embodies the rugged elegance of the season. The top notes are wood and smoke. The mid notes are bourbon and leather, and at the base we have amber and fruit. All right, so what do you smell here? First of all, I think it's actually that leather note that my nose detects first in this fragrance. It is a very rich kind of like mahogany type leather. Definitely leans quite masculine. But it's beautiful. This is like, the leather is incredibly well done. If the bourbon scares you because you're kind of intimidated by the more boozy fragrance notes, I feel like the bourbon here is maybe I feel like I'm getting more of like the casket that the bourbon is aged in, if you will. So I think I get more of like the wood than I do the actual like drink itself. Wood is listed at the top here, so you know, I feel like the bourbon makes sense, but it's not really the bourbon itself, you know, like the actual alcohol. It's more like the barrel that it was aged in, right? Does that make sense? There is a little bit of a smokiness to this fragrance as well, but it's not a heavy smoke note. It's kind of subtle, but it is perfect. There is a whole serious dose of amber in here. Amber is a very prominent fragrance note. It's a very warm, again, resinous amber. It's that perfumey amber that Kringle, I feel like just, they must bring this stuff in just giant vats, because amber has been included in so many of their fragrance releases here over the course of the last couple of months, and this amber is so good. Now, the fruit note is kind of intriguing because there is some sweetness to this. I will not say that I smell like a distinct fruit note per se. I smell some generic fruity sweetness. So it's not like I can sit here and say, oh, I smell a blackberry, or I smell a cherry or a grape or anything like that. It's just a generic, like, fruity sweetness, if you will. But the focus of this fragrance is definitely the leather, the wood, the amber, the touch of smoke, and then that little bit of sweetness by that fruit coming in. I love this so much. I think this is kind of at the same level as Skull and Sonnet for me. And I actually want to say, I think I like the Smoke and Oak even a little bit better than the Skull and Sonnet. And that's really saying something, because I burned that Skull and Sonnet like to the ground. I kept thinking like, oh, I'm going to put the last little bit into one of my candle crocks, but it just did so well the whole way down that I just kept burning it, and it was perfect. This, I think, is even more perfect than that. It's a gorgeous scent. I am here for it. And I'm very fortunate in that this one is giving me a great performance. The strength and throw of this one is more than adequate for the type of fragrance that it is for my house. The strength, I would say, is pretty darn close to an 8. This one is very potent. I have to be mindful about what else I am burning alongside this one. I have to even be mindful about what types of wax melts I have going in my Scentsy warmers. This fragrance here pairs well with, I actually paired it alongside the Scentsy Sanderson Sisters recently, and that was a really nice combo. Sanderson Sisters smells like a version of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. And if you know that particular fragrance, you know it's kind of a heavy, like deep autumnal cherry. A very interesting, complex fragrance. And because it has that same type of perfuminess, I think that that's why it pairs really well with this one. But I tell you what, you don't want this one burning when you have a gourmand going. Maybe like a forest blackberry from Homeworks alongside this. Like I could see a fruity candle like that making sense. Or maybe like a less sweet pomegranate type of fragrance. I think that could pair well alongside this. But this is not the type of candle that I can light in one part of the house and then just mindlessly pick something else for the rest of the house. It is that potent, and it does travel that far. So the strength I'm going to put at right around an 8. The throw I'll put between a 7 and an 8. Listen, it fills much of the downstairs. It fills so much that, again, I have to be mindful about what else I'm burning at the same time. I am one of those people that usually has 2 candles going at a time, sometimes 3, but I try to limit myself to 2. And yeah, this is one where I can't just be burning whatever I want alongside it. The performance, there are no issues. The wicks are doing great. The wax is not discolored. This is not sooting. There's no issues. I think that the best burn that I get out of any of my candles is the Kringle soy candles. I can't even say that so much for the country candles, because those, you know, still sometimes require a little bit more babysitting. But these Kringle classic jars, like, no issues. I can leave this going for 5 or 6 hours, and then I can return to it, and it's still doing just fine. And I have burned this for at least a minimum of 6 hours, and it was great. So I wish that I had more thumbs for this one. It definitely gets 2 thumbs up. I would highly recommend checking this one out, especially if you like these more perfumey fragrances. If this is what you're into, you have to check this one out. Anyway, all that being said, I will link it in the description box down below. The reserve candles rarely, if ever, go on sale. So if you want to save yourself a little bit of money on these, you can use discount code Melanie15. That'll save you at least 15% off of this one. I think you can use your rewards points for reserve candles. I need to double check on that. I know that Kringle changed a couple things as of late, so I need to make sure that that's actually true. But at any rate, you can at least use the 15% off coupon and save yourself a little bit of money. And also, you know, obviously try to apply your rewards if you can, but I'm not sure if that's allowed for reserve candles. We'll see. Let me know if you have any questions. Please leave your opinions about smoke and oak in the comments below. Check out the description box for the link to the earlier video. I appreciate you guys being here. There's one more Bath & Body Works candle review going up a little bit later on today. It's one of their Halloween scents that came highly recommended by my subscriber Taylor. So I'm really excited to finally review that fragrance, because Taylor has been on me for quite some time to pick this candle up. So, and so far, so good. So I will see you guys in another few hours for the last review of the day. I so appreciate you being here. Subscribe if you're new, and give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.